we need to take accountability on our end.
Yeah.
And I said this to Chris immediately after the fight. We should have never been in that position. I got to be honest.
Fair enough.
Don't be in that position or that situation to make him make that type of decision. The referee comes in and asks, do you have any questions or concerns? Chris Curtis went on and said, this guy will find ways to stall. What are you going to do if and when he does stall? How are you going to handle that? So, number one, spit his mouthpiece out. All right, groin strike, then the eye poke. Hey, that is 2 infractions in a row in this round. Where's the point? Anytime that I see Mark Smith walk in the back and say, I got your fight, this sounds shitty to say, but I think to myself, we're now fighting 2 people, not 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Verse Us with Eric Nicksick. He is Eric Nicksick. I'm Randy Fainrich, and this is Verse Us. And today, it's just going to be the captain and I. We're going to talk a little bit about last night, first UFC event of the year. Some really good wins for the gym. One really controversial moment that we'll get into. But first and foremost, man, how did it feel being back in there last night, kind of going through the rhythm of everything?
Yeah, man, I forget how much I missed the Apex, just the fights. And you know how it is, man, like you're part of that UFC staff. Those guys and girls become kind of part of the family.
Definitely.
It was funny, like I actually got a little teary-eyed when I got to see Heidi. That's my girl. So I've been seeing Heidi for however many years. Yeah. So getting the family back together is kind of the vibe and long needed break, but it was nice to get back to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Extreme Couture was kind of at the forefront of it. You guys had three guys last night, right?
Yeah. So we had Puna, Chris, Caesar.
Yeah, absolutely. And Puna got things started with a bang, huh?
Man.
In the fights last night. Was that kind of like the game plan? Was like how did the fight go? I guess from your obviously you won by knockout, but how did the whole fight play out for you?
Really hard to dissect it because it was 31 seconds.
Yeah.
But one of the most beautiful things I think about this sport, and you can attest to this, is the unseen hours and time put in.
Yeah.
That no one really gets to see. A lot of the fans just get to see the product in the cage, but there's a lot that leads up to that.
Right.
And knowing that Puna and his wife were pregnant and they were waiting to announce their pregnancy. He found out Wednesday he was having a baby girl.
Oh, wow.
Just any trials and tribulations when it comes to injuries and emotions throughout an entire 8-week camp are all culminated in that moment, So as a coach, when you get to see him execute the way that he did, him get the finish the way that he did emphatically, and then just that weight lifted off his shoulders, knowing that hey, he's got a baby on the way.
Yeah.
I think those are some of the best moments as a coach that are very hard to explain that a lot of people don't really understand, So the game plan was
knock the motherfucker
out. So obviously Puna's last fight, we wrestled heavy. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, Medic's last couple losses have been to guys who have wrestled him heavy. Mm-hmm. We assumed that they would think that we were going to come out and shoot right away. And that was part of our game plan, was to show level changes and threat the takedown.
Right.
None of that really happened. Puna has historically overthrown his cross, where he falls forward on his cross. And years of myself and Nate and other guys in the gym have always had it try to show him the step over.
Yeah.
So what happens is he's so heavy on that front foot when he throws his left cross that his momentum takes him forward. We're like, dude, if you're just barely reaching and not landing that left cross, step through to the next cross. And he did it. Yeah. And he finally did it. It finally landed. And myself and Nate were just because this is something we've worked on for so long.
Right.
And it lands, and he actually caught him right in that corner post, right at the end of the corner post. Mm-hmm. Got him on the end of that, and then was able to follow up with some good ground and pound strikes and get the finish, man. So I couldn't be happier for him.
His timing seemed really good too, because didn't Medic, he threw a jab to the body, right? Is that what it was?
Big body hook.
Yeah,
and,
or hook. Yeah.
Puna's so good at, when you go back and watch the fight when he fought Dalcha, Puna's so good at catching kicks and returning kicks. Him and Nate work on that constantly. Chris Curtis and those guys, that return. but he almost caught it like he was catching a kick.
Yeah.
So he came out of the body shot in motion. So we always preach, have your counter built into your defense.
Yeah.
So there's no wasted motion. Caught it and came out and threw and countered. And I think Medic kind of reset and thought he could relax, and that's when Puna went.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome to see.
Yeah.
And Puna, in typical Puna fashion, provided another meme for life, and then had the great 10-second line after in the press conference.
Classic Puna.
What do you think is next for? I know it just happened last night, but Puna's got some momentum. It feels like feels like you guys have hit like a different level. Is that fair to say? Maybe
I think he's comfortable in this weight class.
Yeah, he
never really had to cut weight to get to middleweight.
Yeah,
he'd show up and take a shit and a walk, and he was on weight at 185. So now he's always taken his career seriously.
Right.
But now this is a different type of Puna when it comes to being a welterweight.
Yeah.
Like this dude is doing 2-a-days. His strength and conditioning, his nutrition, all of those things are dialed in, and he's just a true professional.
Yeah.
Right. And it took him an hour to cut 8 pounds to make 170.
Wow.
So he's right where he needs to be, right where he belongs. And knowing, and I've said this time and time again, pound for pound, the hardest hitter in the gym. Mm-hmm. And I hold for a lot of hard hitting motherfuckers in that gym.
Yep.
Puna, pound for pound, ruins my pads daily.
Damn.
Daily. Like at one point I was looking on Amazon to get like a catcher's mitt that has like, they put like that sponge in the catcher's mitt when guys are throwing 101. Yeah. So I can hold for this dude's fucking overhand.
Damn.
That's how hard he hits, bro. My hands are going to have arthritis because of Puna Soriano. The dude can crack. So he's just showing all elements now. He can wrestle. He can strike. He can put you out with one punch.
Yeah.
Now it's about, putting it all together and then stringing together some good wins and, working our way up the ladder.
Yeah. As a coach, like you've been with Puna for a minute.
Yeah.
Right? Like as a coach and maybe you can't answer this because you're in the moment.
Sure.
But I feel like, is there a moment where you could like almost see a fighter turning that corner? You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, I think he's getting it now. Like, you know what I mean? Whether it's from a discipline standpoint, a technical standpoint, it could be from anything.
Yeah.
Do you see that with Puna, or are you kind of too like in the moment right now to really realize that?
No, I definitely see that moment when he decided to make the welterweight.
Yeah.
It just felt very, very business oriented.
Right.
Right? Like he can get away with doing certain things. And dude, we're in Long Island fighting Dolce and we're eating fucking cheesecake or cheesesteak sandwiches and fries because he didn't have to cut weight.
Yeah.
That day of weigh-ins, like we're eating like shitty food and whatever. And, this put a different connotation on his career of seriousness, right? And that's on us. Like we always felt like he was kind of an undersized middleweight, but he was knocking motherfuckers out.
Right.
So we're like, hey, if you don't want to cut and you want to do this, let's do it. So that was kind of, on all of us until the point where he lost to Dustin. And we had to really take a hard look at what we're going to do with his career. I mean, dude, you lose that fight against Baeza, you're getting cut.
Yeah.
And that was the mentality of it. So it kind of took not necessarily the fun out of it, but it made us look a little bit more seriously into the career of Puna Soriano and how we wanted to attack this, and it became very workmanlike for him. So that's where I feel like it kind of hit a switch.
Good for him, man. And having a baby, I just, obviously I just had one 5 months ago. Like, it'll definitely flip that switch even more and make it like
dad strength.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but just mentally, like I have to make this work.
Well, you bring up a good point, and that's something I talked to him about a couple days ago, and he actually started crying. Like he found out he's having a little girl.
Yeah.
And we found out on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in the gym and we're shaking out, and I didn't care about the fight. I was like, what are we having? He's like, we're having a little girl.
That's awesome.
And I'm right away, you just, give him a big old hug. And I said, as a parent, as a fighter, as whatever, as a dad, things change when you find your why. Mm-hmm. You always have these different motivations and these different things, but I've always found ways in my life that I might have quit on myself. But I've never quit on my family. I've never quit on my team.
No, you make me emotional because I feel the same way. When I look at him, I'm like, oh my God, bro, there's no way.
You would never.
You could never.
You would never.
You could never, man.
And I just wanted him to connect to that feeling Because if you see some adversity in a fight, if you see in that moment, if you can connect to your why, whatever that why might be, it's going to fucking make you fight harder and longer and stronger, whatever you got to do to get through that.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, now you have your why. And he just started fucking balling, you know?
It's so true though, man.
Yeah.
So true.
100%.
Yeah, so big win for Puna. Keeps moving up at 170. That'll be awesome. We'll get to Chris in a second because we got to talk, you know, a little bit longer about that. But Caesar with a big win last night too. Came back from some adversity as well. How did that kind of play out for you? You know, watching him perform?
Oh, you know, the highs and lows of the fight game, right? Puna goes out, does his thing. We'll talk about Chris, and then now seeing your other teammate who was visibly crying prior to, like, he just got his hands wrapped and he had some emotions before the fight even started, you know. And Mateus, his coach, and I sat down and gave him a hug and, you know, had my hand on.
What was the emotion for, you think? Or was it something that was personal? Or?
Yeah, but you know, I talked him up a little bit because I just know Caesar, you know, he's been training with us since the Contender Series, and he has to leave his entire family behind. Yeah. Right. And there's these emotions of all this stuff, and then it might sprout out on fight night. What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the show. I appreciate all the comments, all the love, all the support. But if there's anything we can do better, if there's guests you want to see coming on, let us know. Put it in the comments. Tell us what we can do. Now back to the show. Might sprout out right before you go walk. Yeah. You know, and it's our job as coaches to maybe just give him a little bit of encouragement or love. And he had that moment, man. And, you know, I just gave him a big old hug and said some things to him. And I couldn't be happier for him. I love Razak, dude. He's a solid human being as well. Yeah. Great guy. He's seen a lot of adversity in his life and his career as well. Yep. So two great guys. Razak got on him pretty quick, hit him with that straight right, dropped him. But man, you can't go into a gunfight with a gunslinger, bro, because that dude he's been in that time and time again. And technically, what happened was Razak was throwing the hook, but where was his right hand?
Super low.
It was in his pocket.
Yep.
And you start going in that gunfight with a clean gunslinger, right? With like Caesar, and he's gonna find that hole, and he just sat down on that left hook, and it was one of the most brutal knockouts I've seen in a long time. So that's the fight game, man. Good people lose, you know, good people win. It's just part of the sport. But you know, I was happy for our guy Caesar, knowing that you know, he lost his first fight against Kopylov, lost a split decision. That was in New York a while back. So now, you know, back in the win column. So I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. You, again, like, people don't know the story, the behind the scenes, like you said, with Puna and with Caesar, and we'll get to Chris. Like, I forget who said it, but there's a quote that said it took 10 years to become an overnight success.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a great quote.
It's a great, I forget who it was too, but it's so true, man.
Yeah, it is.
There's so much that goes into these guys' lives and girls' lives.
Sure.
And, so yeah, I love seeing like the success stories. And again, on the other side of it, you know, like there's the losing end of it, and people that have similar stories but maybe come up short. And it's tough, man. It's a tough way. Like Jay was saying last week, Jay Hiron's a tough way to make a living.
Tough way to make a living. Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into the Chris Curtis fight against the Russian Chase Hooper. Yeah, you know, like I mean, I kind of just want to let you take it away. We could start with the fight and how you think the fight was going. It was obviously back and forth.
Yeah.
But, you know, as someone who's known you for almost 12 years now, I don't think, or maybe longer, I don't think I've ever heard you that animated. Obviously, the camera, I don't think the camera, like, caught you on camera, but you could hear you.
Yeah.
And, you know, rightfully so. So I guess just take us through the fight first, and then we'll get to the end. But how'd you see the fight kind of playing out?
Well, first and foremost, you know, we need to take accountability on our end. Yeah. And I said this to Chris immediately after the fight. We should have never been in that position, right? Yeah. If you don't want Mark to make that call, then don't get head kicked. Yeah. I got to be honest.
Fair enough.
Don't be in that position or that situation to make him make that type of decision. Now, the stoppage was questionable, okay? We're all in agreement to that. Yep. But it wasn't the stoppage that I'm mad about. It was the fact that prior to the fight, the referee comes in and asked, do you have any questions or concerns? Chris Curtis went on and said, this guy will find ways to stall. What are you going to do if and when he does stall? And how are you going to score it? Or how are you going to handle that? We laid out the game plan on how we're going to attack and approach the game plan. That round one was going to be broken up into 2 segments. For us, round one was going to be rounds 1 and 2. The way that Chris fights, he starts slow, so I wanted him to pick up the pace. The pace was going to pick up the second half of round 1 into round 2 and basically the start of round 3. But our question was, when we start going downhill and he starts to stall, how are you going to handle it? And we were told something different than the way he handled it in the fight.
Right.
That's what I'm pissed off about. You never get 3 timeouts in a fucking fight. So, number 1, spit his mouthpiece out. How? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a. Hold on, let me get your mouthpiece. That wasn't too bad. All right, groin strike. Okay, time. Now this is, remember when the momentum was where? Chris was going downhill, right? You guys hear me yelling Oregon, no huddle, keep that fucking offense on the field and keep the pressure, right?
Yep.
Then the eye poke. Calmly said to Mark, hey, that is 2 infractions in a row in this round. Where's the point?
Yeah.
And he looks back at myself and Nate, and he's like, Mark, let me fucking handle. Okay. But we told you that this was going to happen prior. And you gave us an answer of what you would do to handle it, and you're not doing what you said to handle it. That's what we were pissed off about, right? So the stoppage, questionable. If you're a fucking any fighter in the world, knowing that there's 1 second left and the guy walks away, there's not a follow-up punch. He's not coming in to kill, whatever. The chances are we're going to lose on the scorecard now. And I get that. In the moment, I felt we were up 2 rounds. I felt we were up rounds 1 and round 2. Now looking back, we weren't. We would have lost the decision. Okay. It is what it is. You decided to stop the fight with 1 second left when there was no more damage that was going to be taken. When 2 guys poured their heart and soul out for 15 minutes and gave us a war. If you've ever done your homework and watched a Chris Curtis fight, King of Combat, that's what you get. Let the motherfucker go out on his shield, bro. Right? That was some bitch shit. You didn't have to stop the fight on that moment. But that's not what we're mad about. Anytime that I see Mark Smith walk in the back and say, I got your fight, this sounds shitty to say, but I think to myself, we're now fighting 2 people, not 1.
Damn.
And I've felt like that for years.
Yeah.
And this runs deeper than yesterday. So I'll backtrack. We had a heavyweight, Sean Sharif fight Tafa, short notice. Mark Smith says to us, are there any concerns before the fight starts? Yes. Tafa grabs the cage to stop takedowns. How are you going to handle this? Well, if he grabs and this, I go, I just want to know, because is it a point or do we get the position? I would rather have the position because I know Sean can hold him down and finish from there. Keep the fucking point. We want the position because Tafa's not going to get back up, right? Go on this whole thing with him about what this guy's going to do. We're legit going to shoot right away. It's Tafa.
Yeah.
Like, we're not trying to bang with this guy.
Exactly.
Comes out, body locks him, grabs the cage. Within the first 20 seconds, bro. Grabs the cage and stops the takedown. Right? Sean stops and looks at Mark Smith going kind of like, expecting there to be time, point, or position. Yep. Because that's what you told us you were going to do. Neither happened. Okay, we went on and we lost the fight. It is what it is. I'm not arguing about the results. I'm arguing, or I'm sticking up for when we've talked about these things in the back, you've gone against what you said you were going to do.
It's the integrity of the sport and his reffing.
Thank you. Right? So I get him again for the Dan Ige fight, and he comes in the back. He's like, "Hey, you got any concerns?" And I looked at him and I go, "What is it? It's not going to matter."
Yeah.
I kind of laughed. I'm like, I could tell you 100 concerns, and it ain't going to fucking matter, bro. That's how I feel, right? About when he comes in. And this is not 2 fights. This goes back years. So he used to come in.
I was just going to ask you, didn't he used to come in and ref?
He used to come in and ref sparring rounds with the team, which I think is great. And there was another ref that would come in and also voluntarily ref during that time. Well, Mark didn't like this guy, didn't get along with him, right? So I'd get a text message from Mark, "Hey, is it cool if I come in today?" "Sure, no problem. You can come in." "Hey, but is so-and-so going to be there too?" I go, "I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know." This other guy usually comes every sparring just to get reps, right? And the other guy wasn't very good, but he's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. "Hey, do you think you could text him and ask him not to come because I'm coming today?" "Okay, really, dude?" So now I gotta monitor who's voluntarily reffing in my gym that day.
Yeah.
And this went on and on and on, right? To the final straw was he comes in to voluntarily ref Mark, and the UFC Countdown show is there. And he walks in, he's like, "You didn't tell me there was going to be cameras here."
Come on, bro.
Like, I didn't know I had to tell you that there was cameras here. He goes, "Oh, well, do you think you can tell them they can't film while I'm here?" So we're going to tell the Countdown show that they can't film whoever the fighter was at the time because you're here to voluntarily ref our sparring? No, bro, get the fuck out of here. That's how far back this shit goes with this guy.
What fight was that? Do you remember?
Oh, couldn't even tell you, bro.
Yeah.
Couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
But years and years and listen, the deep down bottom line, I think Mark's a good person.
Sure.
He's not a bad human being, right? There's a history that goes on when it goes to coaches, fighters, fucking refs, judges. It's years of just dealing with the same people in the same business for over and over and over. For whatever reason it is, I feel like every time I see Mark, we're fighting against 2 people, not 1. That's my feeling.
Damn.
And it might be another coach's feeling about another ref. And I might be completely wrong, right? Somebody's going to tell me that I'm a fucking whatever. I don't care. That's how I feel when I see that dude come in the back. When I see Herzog, I'm like, great, this dude's going to give us a fair shake. Beltran, he's going to give us a fair shake, right? Like I just have that. But when I see Mark Smith, I'm like, how is this guy going to find a way to fuck us over somehow, some way?
Yeah.
Right? And it is what it is. We earned that loss. First and foremost, we did. We should have wrestled in the 3rd round, which I wanted Chris to do, which sounds crazy, but I felt like Kopylov was part of what we wanted to do. We were going to get him downhill, and we could have wrestled there. We could have took him down. If Chris would have scored that takedown, not a fucking person in the world was expecting that. Damn sure Kopylov. Yeah. And Chris could have won that fight there. We have to take accountability of the position that we put ourselves in. But I'm talking about something completely different.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So moving on. We got to move on. It is what it is. I'm sure Mark Smith's going to love me, right? But I will never not defend my team and defend my guys.
Exactly.
I might have gone over the edge. I might have been emotional. But like we said earlier, when you see what these fighters go through, and not only in an 8-week time, this has been 8 months for Chris.
Right.
Tore his groin, lost a close, controversial split decision, right? Like it was a close fight against Brendan Allen. All those emotions, and then you combine that with rehab to getting back into there and fighting a game opponent in Kopylov. All those things. But when you stop and look at the situation, what did we do that we could have done better to not put ourselves there? That's all I can say.
Man, there's a lot there. I guess first off, like, what was the conversation you and Chris had in the back? Like, what was the first, because obviously you guys were talking in the cage. I saw Nate was trying to calm him down, rightfully so. Like, he was very upset. What was that first conversation like in the back between you two?
I legit said that exactly what I said to you.
Yeah.
I said, hey, man, we should have never let it get to that point.
Yeah.
You know, we have to take accountability first.
Yeah.
And there was things that we could have done better to not allow that to even happen. Right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. You know, if it's like when somebody starts running the score up on you and you're mad they're running the score up, then fucking stop them.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yep.
Bro, like we can't just say Mark Smith fucked us. We can't.
Yeah.
We should have done more. We should have done better. Right?
Yeah.
That's just a byproduct of the situation. How do we just execute it better?
Yeah.
So I got to be real, man. Like, I can't just sit here and cry about that one thing.
Yeah,
right?
and you, as you said, it's not about the loss. It's about the way in which he handled, you know, the infractions and things that you talked about beforehand in the locker room.
Prior to the fight,
right?
Which has happened numerous times,
Right.
You know, controversial stoppage with Brad Tavares, controversial call when he's on the replay assist and takes a point away from Kai Kamaka. Dude, I got laundry list of things that I've had to deal with this guy time and time again.
Did you see him after the fight in the back at all? Did you
Fuck
talk to him?
no, they fucking
kept him away.
Yeah, and again, man, like I know a lot of coaches, and I love that passion. I've seen coaches go fucking off.
Yeah,
and I've never felt like they were in the wrong because I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know. Like I was at I remember Saif Saud going off on, you know, somebody after, but I was like, him and I might not see eye to eye all the time, but I respect the fact that he cares.
And defending his
fucking team.
Yeah.
And defending his fighter.
Did you have any conversations since with anyone like Jeff Mullen or anyone at UFC, or have you had
Jeff and Hunter talked to me right away.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that conversation like? In the outside of the cage or in the back?
Outside the cage.
Okay.
You know, I just walked up to Hunter and I'm just like, hey man, like you got to let that fit. And he's, you know, I'm not going to say what they say,
sure.
but what I said to Jeff, again, like I wanted to make it clear to Jeff was that the stoppage is the stoppage. We should have never put ourselves there.
It's the integrity.
It's like when we talk about these infractions that we know that are going to happen, we literally like tell the guy, we know this guy better than he knows himself. Here's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And you don't do anything to like, it's a point deduction that changes the whole game plan.
Yeah.
Right? It changes the whole game plan and how we approach round 3. But again, don't get head kicked. We don't get ourselves in that position. And afterwards, there's a chance we're going to lose that as a decision anyway.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Is there a way to like formally, and I don't know from like a commission standpoint or UFC standpoint, but like, is there a way to formally request him to not ref?
I'm going to find all that out.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's just too far gone.
Yeah.
Like I know this guy too well anecdotally on a like through all of my experiences with him and on a personal level of what I've seen with other people, other fight. Like there's no way that this guy can't hold a grudge or a bias.
Really?
There's just no way. Like I know him too well. Like he fraternizes with other gyms and teams and fighters and coaches and everything else. So there's no, the lines have been blurred.
Yeah.
So for him, knowing that to me, I think he's an egomaniac.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I've never heard a ref ask people to vote for him for MMA Ref of the Year. I've never gotten a text from Herzog or Herb Dean asking for votes for MMA Ref of the Year.
Well, he's a former pilot, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like those dudes
bro.
You know? Yeah.
Fucking
I'm a pilot.
Chess Rockwell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just okay. And he's deep down, he's a good dude. He's a perfectionist. He tries to be the best at his craft. I can't hate him on that, you know, but he has an ego.
Yeah.
And there's no way that I believe, and I do too.
Yeah.
And
everyone does.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
But there's no way that I believe that going forward, right? Like he's going to give us a fair shake.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I feel like he's our Eddie the Mush. He is our Eddie the Mush. I see the dude walk in and I just go, fuck.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
How is that fair
for
a coach when you leave as a crapshoot when you get to fight night and you see Mark Smith walk in and your first feeling is, fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, you don't want, and I'm not diminishing non-title fights or non-title competitors, right? Athletes, but like you just can't have that happening at the highest level. Whether it's a fight on a prelim, a fight on the main card, or a main event title fight, you just can't have that stuff happening.
Hey, I'm always going to give the benefit of the doubt when it comes to like split-second decisions. Guys, you know, they're there, they see it, they know better, whatever. But again, like the deeper part about this is the infractions.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll give you another example, and this is the one him and I had a huge blow up on, was Uriah Hall versus Paulo Costa. Uriah Hall versus Paulo Costa. Uriah Hall is round one, gets, I got to look back.
Yeah.
But it was 3 infractions in a row. It's like 2 eye pokes and a groin punch, or 2 groin punches and an eye poke.
Yeah.
And Uriah's getting going.
Yeah, he was jabbing his face off. I remember that fight.
To the point where I had Uriah, like part of our game plan was to shoot a takedown. And Uriah took Paulo Costa down.
Yeah.
Right? Like our game is going where it needs to go. And then it was infraction. Here's what Mark Smith told me after the second or third infraction, that the translator didn't tell Paulo that the next one was going to be a warning, that it was a translate. And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The rules are the rules are the rules. It doesn't matter if you're Russian or whatever your language is.
Yeah.
There's the universal language of MMA and there's a universal language of infractions.
Yeah.
And then comes over and argues with me and Uriah in between the round about, because he has to be right.
Yeah.
He has to be right.
Yeah.
That's his whole side of it, right? Like, I'm right. Well, we're at the mercy of you. So whatever, now you're taking a minute away from my fighter as we're trying to keep him calm because he's pissed at you for not taking a point. So it is what it is. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How's Chris feeling today? Have you talked to him? Like, is he
talked to him this morning?
Or?
You know, I talked to him this morning, and he's like, "What went wrong?" And I was like, "You know, we could have done this, we could have done that." And he even said, like, I should have wrestled.
Yeah,
you know, I should have wrestled in round 3. Like myself and Nate were yelling for it right before Kopylov shot. It was about 30 seconds before Kopylov shot. We were coding out. You know, hey, fit in.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, not a person in the world would have thought Chris is going to shoot.
Right.
And Kopylov is on wobbly legs, and Chris has a very good fucking takedown.
Yeah.
Very good takedown, you know. So that was part of the game. We worked on that in camp as well, and Chris was taking people down at that 30-second clacker around that time. So, you know, systematically, that was something that we wanted.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it, and that's on us.
Yeah.
That part's on us.
Definitely. Physically, is he okay? You know, any
He's
injuries?
heartbroken again.
Yeah.
You know, the poor guy.
I know.
The poor guy. Of all the people in the world, too, because it's just like, poor Chris.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, and he's like Eeyore. You know what I mean? He's gonna be down for a while.
Yeah.
But he's such a great teammate. He's such a great guy. Like, love him to death. And when you look at about the perspective of the situation, you know, Chris is on the up.
Yeah.
We're going to leave him better than we found him. He's in the UFC. He's making good money. All these things are far superior than when he came to Extreme.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave him better than we found him, whenever the day is that he decides to retire. But once again, man, he's our king of combat, and we love him.
Yeah. He's also just an amazing story. I feel like people don't know, you know, him losing in the PFL, retiring, eating a sandwich, being like, oh, actually, you got to go fight again.
Yeah.
You know, gets knocked out, retires again, then gets the call, right, with UFC and has this run. Like, his story is awesome. So, yeah, again, back to that, it took 10 years to be an overnight success, and you don't know everything that goes into the product you see in the cage.
Right.
You know, he's one of those guys that you feel for on so many levels.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we can shift gears from last night, unless you have anything else you want to kind of add or.
No, I'm trying to think if there was anything that really stood out.
What'd you think of the main event, by the way? Mackenzie, that was a big win for her.
Didn't watch it.
No,
didn't
you
watch it. I was in the car. I saw that she got a finish.
Yeah, because she got stopped by Ribas in the first fight, or she just lost a decision?
I don't remember.
But I know that was a big fight for her.
I don't remember
to get that one back.
I don't remember. But you know, I was looking like on the phone, and I was heading out, and I saw, like, right when I turned it on, I saw that she got the finish. So there's a lot of really good, exciting fights, man. Like some good bonuses handed out.
Yeah, Caesar got one.
Caesar got a bonus. Chris got bonused. Mackenzie ended up getting bonused. Thought Puna would get bonus.
Yeah, Puna should have got. That would have been a nice.
I thought the kid
present.
too, the Oklahoma Jacoby Smith, He looked great. He came on short notice.
Yep.
He hit that
Left
dude with the left hook. Yeah, he had a good Christian Rodriguez, looked amazing.
That kid's really good.
Oh, bro.
And I feel like they don't
me.
promote him that much. Like a lot of people don't know about him. He's at 45, right?
Well, yeah, so he fought at 35 for a while. Had a hard time making that weight cut.
Yeah.
I got to train with him a little bit in the past. He's a really, really good kid.
Yeah.
Really good kid. Yeah. Julian fought him. Julian was able to get him with the guillotine, but that was, and Julian's a big 45er.
Yeah, and so long.
Lanky. So, and seeing Christian come back after the loss to Julian and go fight a top-level contender or prospect, I want to say contender, in Bashi, because I've seen Bashi train. He's been in the gym before.
Yeah.
That kid ran into a tough first opponent in the UFC. Welcome to the UFC, but this kid is going to be good, this Bashi kid.
Yeah.
Give him some time.
Yeah.
Give him some time. He'll be back. But, yeah, Christian Rodriguez is a dog, man. And shout out to Christian and Duke Rufus and Pettis and that whole crew, man, because Christian's just a really, really, really good kid, man. Great athlete as well.
Yeah, he's good. We could turn our attention to this weekend's fights. First pay-per-view of 2025. Really, really good card. Yeah, I mean, let's just go through the main card. Kevin Holland, I don't know how to say his name. He came from one, though, right? De Ridder. Yeah. Was this actually, by the way, was this the fight that Chris was supposed to have, right, on this card or no?
No.
Was that supposed to be earlier?
Chris was going to fight.
He was going to fight Kevin Holland at one point, right?
Yep. Chris was going to fight Kevin Holland in Salt Lake, and Chris broke his foot.
That's right.
Right? And then Roman ended up taking that fight.
That's right.
Yeah, Roman stepped in to fight Holland.
Yeah. But UFC 311 this weekend in LA tentatively, right? I just saw something earlier where
could be moved.
Dana and UFC could move it to Vegas. Huh? Confirmed to move it? Yeah, it's
they're going to keep it. I heard. Yeah. Fuck, I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know how.
It's close. Like, you're a week out. The last time they moved to event, I was working there when John pissed hot and they moved it from Vegas to LA against Gustafsson, the second fight.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was on, I think we moved on Christmas Day. We left. Yeah. Christmas Day, we left to go to LA. So, which was like 2 days before the event. So hopefully they do it sooner. But yeah, great card. Islam Makhachev, Arma Tsarukyan, the rematch.
Ooh.
Great fight. Merab, our boy, against Umar, Jiri and Jamhal. Beneil and
Moicano. That's gonna be fun.
And then Kevin Holland and De Ridder. So I guess we could start there. Just quick thoughts, I guess, on Kevin Holland and De Ridder. I know De Ridder is like a jiu-jitsu specialist.
Very,
correct?
very good on the ground.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has the offensive wrestling to get Kevin to the ground.
Yeah.
I just don't, man. And watching De Ridder versus Mershart, that last fight, Mershart was putting hands on De Ridder.
Yeah.
Bro, if Kevin is able to hit De Ridder the same way that Mershart did, Kevin's knocking him out.
Yeah.
Kevin's knocking him out. So,
trying to see what the odds are on this fight.
Kevin's an underdog, I think.
Is he really?
I think.
Let's see. We got Johnny. I don't see the main event or the main card fighters. But yeah, we'll pull that up and try to get there. But yeah, I like Kevin too. I'm with you. I thought Gerald should have got him out of there.
I do too.
It seemed like he gassed in that fight a little bit, and
De
Ridder was able to kind of get him, get him to the ground. But I like Kevin in that fight. I think Kevin stops him.
Yeah,
I think Kevin stops him.
I'm
He's a big 85er though. It looks like De Ridder. Or maybe I just
he is, but he came and trained with us a little bit when he fought Mershart.
Okay.
Very, very good on the ground. But my thought process is like I didn't see like a good the good wrestling takedowns.
Yeah.
It was more like kind of like just dragging dudes to the floor. Wasn't like any judo, wasn't any special that I saw when he fought Mershart. Maybe Mershart made it look that way. Maybe it was more about Mershart than it was, De Ridder. But training with Kevin, knowing Kevin has, Kevin does have a good ground game.
He's got really good jiu-jitsu, right? He's with Travis Lutter. Yeah.
But Kevin has, long limbs, Darce's triangles. He's offensive off his back. But the thing that stands out to me the most in when I, would hold pads for Kevin is he's very, very good out of both stances, and he can move in certain ways to get you to overcommit to one punch. Kevin will be gone, and he can sharpshoot you from there.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, I think Kevin gets him with that kind of like that pull counter motion, gets him to overcommit on something, and Kevin will stop him with a cross.
I'm looking right now. It looks like -105, -115.
Oh, okay.
So
Coin
almost
flip.
a pick 'em.
Yeah, coin flip.
With Kevin and De Ridder. Exciting fight. The next fight might be the people's main event.
Oh, dude, this is great
on
fight.
the card. Beneil Dariush and Moicano. Looks like Beneil is a +165 underdog.
Beneil is.
Beneil, it looks like to me.
Okay.
I'm on bestfightodds.io.
Okay.
Yeah, so +165, Moicano -190. Thoughts on that fight? I'll tell you, my first initial thought is Moicano's way too big of a favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Moicano's good, but that seems too big.
So we talked about this in the Saint Denis fight, and I actually took Moicano in that Saint Denis fight because of momentum.
Yeah.
I think Moicano is finding his way. He's finding his ways to win. And momentum is huge in this sport, right? But there also is recency bias.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes, too, when I remember when Beneil was fighting Oliveira, Beneil was a huge favorite versus Oliveira, right? And we saw what Oliveira went out and did versus him. So recency bias is a thing in this sport. He's lost to Arman Tsarukyan, and he's lost to Oliveira back-to-back fights. I get that. Where is Moicano? His best? The ground. But Beneil is arguably one of the best grapplers in the world in this weight class.
Yeah.
I don't know how Moicano will out-grapple Beneil. I would imagine that if this fight stays on the feet, I would favor Moicano on the feet just because of the recent knockouts in the chin of Beneil. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to pick one, but in my opinion, this is the fan main event here.
Yeah.
This is the BMF on the card. So I'm really excited for it. I would love to see how Moicano has done fared against southpaws in the past. You know, because Beneil's a tricky southpaw.
Yep.
So we'll see, man.
Yeah. Interesting you think that. I mean, I would think that Moicano's path to victory would be to get him to the ground.
Sure.
And I was gonna say I don't think, because like you said, Beneil's such a great grappler, I don't know if Moicano's going to be able to get him to the ground.
Yeah.
So it might end up being like just a stand-up.
Might be a war.
Fight and you know, Beneil's chin, he had a chin, and then these last two fights have been tough.
Selfishly, I would love to see this fight hit the ground because I do want to see, you know, the game plans for both. You know, I love Pahumpa. He's one of my favorite coaches in the game. So, and he's constantly coming up with great game plans, coaching just some of the best fighters in the world. Seeing the guy weekly, you know, he's got amazing fighters. So I like to see kind of how the game plans shake out, and you know, personally, I'm kind of pulling for Moicano here just because I like the dude.
He's hilarious.
I just want to see the motherfucker on the mic.
That dude will call out any and everyone. He's so funny, man.
Yeah, dude, I love him, and good for him because like he's really taken that. You know, that time on the mic and has really won that time. Yeah. And has won a lot of people over. He's got a great podcast with Gilbert. Yeah. So, you know, selfishly, I just want to see the motherfucker on the mic.
On the mic. Oh, imagine what he's going to say about L.A. and Governor Gavin Newsom. Oh, fuck.
Let him cook.
He's going to
let him
crazy.
cook.
And taxes in California.
Oh, shit.
Moicano needs money, motherfucker. So that's a good fight. So are you going to pick... You just kind of iffy on both.
I mean, I like both guys, you know, but just for the viewership, I like to see Moicano on the mic.
Yeah. Next fight, another just banger, man. Jiri Prochazka and Jamhal Hill. Probably a number one contenders fight, I would assume. I know Yuri's lost to the champ twice, but yeah, give me your thoughts on that. I think that's interesting. That's a really, really good fight.
Man, it's a great fight. You know, Hill's my boy. Love watching him. Love training with him. Very high fight IQ when you sit and talk with him. You know, I know that you know, he's had his ups and downs with the fans recently. Yeah. But I understand why. Like I mean, I just fuck with Jamhal. Like I like the dude. If you know him, if you're around him, he's a dog. You know. Jiri, that samurai spirit, he's a freaking zombie though, right? Like the dude, you're gonna have to put a hole through his head to get that guy out of there. Yeah, unpredictable. How do you find a guy to spar you that can mimic what Jiri Prochazka does? You just can't, right? Because it's punches coming from weird angles and doing everything else. But we talked about this when Alex Pereira fought Jiri the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jiri leaves his defense behind. When he's throwing a punch, the opposite hand's down. When he's throwing a kick, the holes in the defense are going to be there. And Jamhal is so good at diagnosing the holes in the defense that he's not going to look at where the punch is coming. He's looking where he can counter you. Mm-hmm. And, he's got brilliant setups. We saw a brilliant setup when he fought Johnny Walker. Started him off in southpaw, switched over to ortho, changed his stance, and it went unnoticed by Johnny, and Johnny was hit with something because of the subtle stance switch in motion. Mm-hmm. So Jamhal, in my opinion, has the better all-around skill set to win this fight. It's the unpredictability of Jiri where you have to be careful, right? You have to mind your P's and Q's. When you think a combination might be over and then there's a reset, he's spinning, he's throwing some crazy shit, right? And that's where you have to really mind your P's and Q's in this fight.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one too. Another people's main event fight. Honestly,
looks like you can make an argument between those two, right?
Right.
But I mean, these are all main events if they're off a different card. You know?
Yeah, any fight night main. All of these are fight night main events and everything. Looks like kind of a pick 'em there too. Jamhal minus 115. I can see that. Jiri minus 105.
Yeah, I can see that.
Looks like some books have varying varying odds, but they're all right around minus 105, minus 115, minus 110.
Yeah.
So, good fight. I kind of like Jamhal for this fight too because of what you said about leaving your defense behind. I know Pereira can crack, and that's different, but so can Jamhal. And so if Jamhal touches him, I think he's going to be he might be on wobbly legs as well. I'm gonna go with Jamhal in that fight too. But that's interesting, and obviously, if Pereira wins his next fight and Jamhal wins, like that rematch will have all the build up in the world.
Heat.
Yeah, real serious heat there, and it's good. It's good. Co-main event, our boy Merab Dvalishvili, UFC bantamweight champ, defending against arguably the most dangerous guy in the division in Umar Nurmagomedov. Merab plus 275.
Oh wow.
Umar minus 350. Favorite. Everything again right around the 250 to 275 range for Merab, and everything around minus 330 to minus 350 for Umar. Thoughts on this matchup, because it's going to be interesting. Merab's pressure and takedowns versus Umar's footwork and striking.
Yep.
Not that Umar can't wrestle, but
yeah. Man, so I this one I actually broke down some notes for us.
Hell yeah. This is
Merab,
the good stuff right here.
Merab, his strengths, relentless pace, pressure, averages a record-breaking number of takedown attempts, strong wrestling base with chain takedowns and top control, excellent cardio. I mean, I don't think excellent is even the word.
Yeah, it's
cardio is ungodly.
Yeah.
Allowing them to overwhelm opponents, durability, and willing to eat shots to impose his game. Path to victory, he's going to have to suffocate Umar with pace. Merab can stick to his strength and apply constant pressure, putting Umar on his back foot, mixing up his strikings, avoiding the guillotine chokes and submissions. I think Merab really needs to tie together his level changes into his striking to kind of get Umar's hands guessing on if it's a shot or not. I don't know how. I would love to see. These are things that when I say I don't know how, as a coach, like I'm excited to see how this unfolds. How does Merab hold a guy like Umar down if and when he does get him down?
Yeah.
What are the routes? What is he going to do to tie the legs up? What kind of attacks is he going to have? And, even like on the other side of that, it's like, is Umar going to look to be offensive? Is he going to look to hit switches and stay on top himself? When you see guys that are so good at topside wrestling, sometimes they're not very good off their back. But do you want to engage in these entanglements with somebody like Merab over and over and over again?
Right.
Especially who will, in a 5-round fight, and we know what his gas tank looks like, shit, he's okay grappling you for 25 minutes straight.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's going to come out of the other end of that. So that's what I got for that. Umar, hey, unbeaten record. He's a freaking Khabib prodigy, right? Skilled submissions. Crisp striking. When I write down crisp striking, this guy can do it very well out of both stances. Knockout power out of both stances. We saw him hit Hani Bahalos or whatever the guy's name with that overeem. Feint the knee, step into the hook, add on his offense right after that. Those are high-level things. And when I talked to Beneil Manel Kopp spars Umar all the time. And Manel, in my mind, is one of the best strikers in the game. Mm-hmm. And when Manel tells me that Umar's better than him in striking or damn near close, I got to take Manel's word for it.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is going to be a little bit of the chess game now. You got a guy like Umar who can snipe you and can catch you running into things, which we've seen Merab kind of run into certain things. And you have a guy that can move and strike out of both stances and get in and out. That will be, to me, kind of that chess game and how they do it. The biggest thing I wrote here for Umar is manage your pace. How do you manage the pace? That is my biggest key.
Yeah.
Like I want to see how Umar manages Merab's pace for 5 rounds. How do you do it?
Yeah.
Right? How do you do it? The guy that was maybe in striking wise as close to Umar was Petr Yan, right?
Yeah.
Striking wise.
Yeah. I was thinking Morais too, but Morais is more like karate, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. To play devil's advocate though on the pace thing, what if someone were to say, well, he just went 5 rounds with Sandhagen? How is that different than going 5 rounds with Merab? Like in terms of pacing? Because he looked good after 5 rounds with Sandhagen.
The up-down. Yeah. The up-down pacing.
Yeah.
Another human being draped on top of you, trying to hold you down and fighting your way up, and then getting up and then getting taken right back down again, and not allowing that to be a mental break in your game. Right? Where it just becomes discouraging.
Yeah.
You know? But Merab has to tie in the threat of the level change and the takedown into his striking to make Umar feel as if that the up-down threat will be there. If Merab is just hands and just kicks and then makes it a la carte where it's hands, kicks, 2 strikes, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem. You can't order a meal at 2 different restaurants. It doesn't taste good.
I love these fucking...
Right?
I love when you do that.
You just
you
can't.
have the best analogies, bro.
You just
it's
can't.
The best thing
no
ever.
one likes Chinese Mexican food.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe somebody out there might, but...
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
But you got to blend... You got to blend it together.
Yeah.
You got to blend it together. You got to make it cohesive.
Yeah.
And if you don't, Umar will pick you apart in the boxing, and he's able to read your shot selection when it happens.
Yeah. Man, I'm so interested in that fight because, I want to see, because it's going to be like, and you tell me, I would imagine Merab at its core game plan is move forward and pressure.
Yep.
Umar at its core, the game plan is probably keep Merab on the back foot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you, who can impose their will, I guess, the most?
We always say pressure release. Pressure release when you can be out of both stances.
Yeah. Put
Put pressure on. Release the pressure because you're going to get the bull. But then you got to play Matador.
Yeah.
And then that's when you see the car crashes, the collisions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, pressure release. Oop, I'm gone. Oop, there's my shake step. Bang. Hit him with something.
Yeah.
So that's, if Umar wins, I think that's the fashion that he wins it in. I think he's gonna have to knock Merab out.
Yeah.
And if Merab wins, I think he suffocates him.
Yeah.
I just think it's a relentless 5-round decision like we saw against O'Malley. He's gonna stay on him and grind on him.
True or false? If the fight gets to the championship rounds, it's Merab's to lose.
I would say true. Stylistically, and what we've seen out of Merab, I would say that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm
I
excited.
think the later it goes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And then I look at it too, it's like, even if it's 2-2 going into 5, I think I would lean on Merab just because I know what his cardio looks like.
Yeah.
You know, and he can get those takedowns. He can make it kind of an ugly 5th round.
Yeah.
Maybe not a lot of action, but you're like, oh, right. Merab fucking held him on the cage the whole time or took him down. And win goes to him.
Yeah.
Right?
Man, I'm so excited for that fight because it really is like a battle of wills.
Great fight.
Umar got to keep him away and Merab got to just be going forward.
Great
the whole
fight,
time.
man. I'm excited for it too.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna pick Merab. Because he's been a guest on Versus Us, obviously.
There you go.
So I'm gonna be cheering for Merab to win. But yeah, great fight. And if Umar were to win, great fights at bantamweight. Sean, the rematch with Corey.
Yeah.
Jan. Song Yadong even, like if he could beat Cejudo,
right,
which I think he does. There's gonna be some good matchups at 135. And then main event, equally just as intriguing, Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan, the rematch. They fought was it Armin's debut? Is when they fought?
Short
At
notice.
21, 22 years old, Armin. And they went to
Fight
decision.
Island, right?
I think it was. Yeah, it was sometime.
Oh, it
around
wasn't
there.
Fight Island, but it was in Abu Dhabi. I think
Yeah.
it was like an Abu Dhabi card. It might not have been.
Yeah,
Dern.
maybe. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I'll pull it up.
Armin was what, 21, 22, making his debut. They went the distance. I'm really interested in this fight, man. I think Armin is a very game opponent.
2019.
So right before COVID and Fight Island.
April of 2019.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I was there. Where was that? Was that Brooklyn?
No, I thought that was Abu Dhabi. Let me look and see.
No.
I'll pull it up for you.
April 2019 was. Yeah, it wasn't Brooklyn or.
St. Petersburg, Russia.
Okay.
Overeem versus Olenek.
Yep, Olenek. Yep.
Olenek. That's what I said.
And he hit him with that from top mount choke that he used to do.
No,
Olenek.
Overeem won.
Did he?
Yeah, ground
I
and pound
thought
and knees,
Olenek-
man. What card
I
are
thought
you
Olenek-
on, bro?
I don't know, bro.
Fucking casual.
Which one am I thinking of? Oh, the Mark Hunt when he hit him with the top one. Anyway,
Anywho.
that was fucking 7 years ago or whatever it was. So, yeah, the rematch this weekend.
So technically, I mean, Armand really hasn't lost since, right? The Gamrot fight was so close.
Oh, was that his only loss
That's
since
his
then?
only loss since then. And again, it wasn't really a loss, but
Yeah.
this dude has been on a fucking tear, bro.
He's so good.
He is so good. You see that motherfucker's pictures?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, he is looking
fucking shredded,
shredded.
bro.
I saw those on Twitter circulating.
Yeah.
With the long Tarzan hair and shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude is ready. He looks like he's been in the mountains for fucking 6 months.
Doing his thing.
Yeah. So yeah, thoughts on that fight?
Man. First of all, we'll start with Armand. Okay, dynamic striking and grappling and wrestling. Excellent with the scrambles and reversals. Rapid improvement with his striking. Fluid combinations, heavy kicks, cardio and durability, allowing to push a relentless pace. High-level experience, including competitive fights with Islam in their first bout. That's what I highlighted.
Yeah.
He's been in there before and hung with them.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
This isn't, he's not walking in to fight the boogeyman.
He
right?
knows what he's felt him
seen the
before.
boogeyman.
Yeah.
He's been in there with the boogeyman. Now, on Islam's defense, he's also grown since that time. He's
Definitely.
also gotten better. He's now a champion.
Yeah.
So there is a little give and
And
take.
I think he 30-27'd him in that first fight.
Yeah.
I think it
was
was
close.
It was
right?
close.
It was
Definitely
close.
close. Yeah.
But it wasn't what everybody thought it was going to be.
Right.
So I think that knowing that and knowing what the boogeyman feels like and looks like, and you've been in there with him, I got to think that helps Armand in knowing what he's getting himself into.
Has to.
Right?
Yeah.
Another key to victory for Armand. Path to victory. Win the scrambles. Mix the striking with takedown threats. I think Armand should look to score some takedowns here. Right?
Man, can you imagine? All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
That would just be awesome.
I'm with you. So people are gonna question, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Right? You sprinkle a takedown to or in, it's gonna only make your striking better.
Yeah.
It's only gonna add to your element of striking. Right? So the risk reward with that is now you're in the waters with a great white shark. But Armand had already been in the waters with the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? He's already been in there with them.
Yeah.
So you should be able to know. What was that? Teddy Atlas, you're a firefighter. You got to be in the fucking fire.
You got to be in the fire.
Yep. But that's why you wear turnouts and you got an SCBA, right? Exploit the later rounds. If Islam slows down, be greedy. Stay on him, keep the pressure on him, and don't allow him to kind of negate the takedowns and slow the fight down, if you will.
I think about Poirier in those 4th and 5th rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
There
you go.
If that's Armin, how does that look?
How does that look? Islam, dude, you could write a whole fucking page on strengths alone.
Yeah.
Right? But all right,
so good.
elite grappling, sambo base that overwhelms all of his opponents, dominant top control with submissions, which is even scarier. This guy's not looking to hold you down. He's looking to hold you down, then submit you, and then beat you up, while all tied into one.
Yeah.
It's a very offensive style of ground and pound, a very offensive grappling style. It's not boring.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's looking to maim you. right? He's looking to hurt you. And what I love about his style is that he's not in a rush to get from position to position to position. He will stay in a position until it expires and makes you move out, and then he goes to another spot.
Yeah.
And he'll continue on with the onslaught of the ground and pound until you do what? Here's my arm. Here's my neck. Here's my arm and neck. Get me the fuck out of here, right? Improved striking. I think his striking has only gotten better. We saw that versus Volkanovski, same side head kick. That was beautiful. Fight IQ and ability to control the pace. Path to victory, control the grappling exchanges, using his striking to set up his takedowns. We kind of said that in reverse order. And maintain energy efficiency. Find your pit stops. That is key for both, okay?
Yeah.
So now Islam scores a takedown against Arman. You cannot rest there. Arman cannot rest there. Because Islam is going to look to find a pit stop. He's going to try to slow the pace down to catch his breath and stay on top and then continue on, right? Arman has to make this a continuous flow, a continuous grapple. So that's going to be the chess match to me, man. I'm very interested in this fight. I think this fight is a lot closer than what the odds are saying. You've heard me say this time and time again.
Yeah. And
we've seen these get down to 2-2s going into 5s.
Yeah. Yeah. Islam minus 410. Arman coming back plus 310. That's insane.
Yes, all signs point to Islam going out and winning this fight, sure.
Yeah.
But what the body of work that Arman Tsarukyan has put together in the last couple years, culminated to his coaching in Pahumpa, culminated to the fact that he's out there putting fighters away the way that he's doing, the fashion that he's doing it in. Yeah. Great fight against Charles Oliveira the last time out. Man, I think it's a lot closer than it thinks, but, of course, I lean towards Islam.
Yeah. Ooh, I cannot wait for that fight. I cannot wait for that fight.
What do you got?
I kind of lean toward Islam. Like you said, his striking is so good. The head kick with Volk. I thought his boxing actually looked really good against Poirier. Like he was holding his own on the feet. Not that he tried to make it a boxing match, but when it was on the feet, he busted Dustin up. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Arman will meet the moment, though. I do think that. I do think he won't get overwhelmed. I think if there is a finish, it might be in the later rounds. Sure. Either way, either guy, whatever. But I don't think. I do think he'll meet the moment. Yeah. But I'm so excited for this fight. I lean Islam just based on experience alone. And we said Arman's been in there with the boogeyman. He felt him. Islam the same way. Islam knows, and I know Arman's made leaps and bounds, but Islam's been in there too with him. And I think, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Islam should be favored, but minus 410 feels crazy.
Yeah, it feels crazy.
Feels a little nuts.
And if you're a value better, throw $100 on Arman.
Yeah.
Right? But you'd probably be losing $100.
Yeah.
But it's worth the value.
But it's worth the play, yeah.
And just that Khabib mystique with that whole gym, that whole team, man, the way they train, the way that they prepare. The fight IQ, the situational awareness that they bring to the table. I mean, they're second to none, dude.
Yeah.
We're all chasing guys like that.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about the style that they train, the show up. Everyone knows the workout. Everybody knows the warm up.
Yeah.
It's diligent. I mean, we talked to Bilal that one time, bro.
Yeah.
It is something to see, and to be able to watch a Khabib practice. It's a freaking honor.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm excited. Hopefully he gets to LA. Did you see that video of him getting thrown off the plane?
I know the language. It's not about the language. I know how to help people. And now you guys, because this woman don't understand what she's talking about.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're either going to have you switch your seat because my flight attendants are not allowing you to sit in the exit row, or you're going to have to get off this plane and then we'll have to leave you because they're not comfortable with you sitting in the emergency exit row. My flight attendants.
It's crazy.
Who's got the balls
to do that? Clearly some woman who has no idea who he is.
God, we've all been in those situations where you're just like, bro, remember during COVID when your mask would just fall to that, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
They love that fucking power.
They do.
They love that. I can kick you off the plane power. Come on, relax.
Imagine being that flight attendant supervisor And they'd be
Just
like,
calling.
hey, there's a guest that won't get off the plane. Please, we have to physically remove him. And the
fuck.
security comes up and it's Khabib. You're
It's
like,
the Eagle.
hey, bro, do you want to sit here? You can sit here. It's fine.
You want to
Like,
fly the plane?
Yeah.
Bro, you can fly it if you want. Like
Yeah.
we'll make arrangements for you to sit in the
Yeah.
cockpit.
Imagine the cop being like, dude,
Yeah,
can
credit to Khabib on keeping his cool.
Yeah, he stayed really
Right.
calm.
So, you know,
I kind
'cause
of
he
expect
knows.
nothing less though.
Yeah, 100%.
He's such
I
a
mean, cameras
Vic
on
was
him,
like,
yeah.
I'm surprised he's in coach. I'm like, I feel like that's very Khabib.
That is
to be in coach
totally
and like,
Khabib, yeah.
and like just be one of the people
Yeah.
like you know
Yeah.
sitting there.
Well, I wonder how that conversation started. Like you're in the exit row. Do you like,
Bro,
hey, can
she
you?
literally says she's like, we or my flight attendant doesn't feel comfortable with you sitting here
In the exit row
in
or
the exit
here?
row.
Or-
In the exit row.
And it's like when you do the extra row, they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" Then you verbally say, "Yes, I take responsibility."
Sure.
I think when Khabib said yes, she heard the accent and said, "Oh, there's a language barrier," because you hear Khabib say, "I can speak English, I can help,"
Yeah.
and I think she said the flight attendant didn't feel comfortable with like. The
Oh,
language
bro.
barrier. So what I'm taking
Got
out-
it.
Hey,
know.
and guess who just took another L?
Yeah.
Alaska Airlines.
Alaska Airlines, you
Just
sons of
taking fucking L's, bro.
fucking Alaska, bro.
Taking
Also
L's.
very Khabib to fly Alaska Airlines.
if
It's
they're-
probably the cheapest option.
Very true. And chances are that of a plane going down is Alaska. And if there's anybody in an exit row, I want Khabib.
Same.
He's going to be pulling motherfuckers off the plane.
Definitely.
So, Alaska,
Definitely.
take your L.
Take your L. Issue an apology.
Big one.
Yeah.
The door off that fell off the Alaska airplane, you know, that was an exit door. It was a plug.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. UFC 311 this weekend. Hopefully the Mark Smith stuff gets resolved. Honestly, that
Yeah,
sucks.
I mean, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah.
Welcome back to fighting, everybody.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Kicking
Y'all
off
missed the
2025.
drama. We got the drama for you.
Yep. Kicking off
It is
2025
what it is, man.
with the same shit. So,
Yep.
all right, cool.
Yep.
You're gonna be there this weekend, correct or
No,
no?
Johnny's out.
Oh,
Johnny's out. Yep, broke his ribs.
Damn.
Yep.
How'd that happen? Just training?
Fucking
or?
training.
Man,
Last round of the last spar, how it always goes.
fuck.
Some shit. So it is what it is, man. And here's the crazy thing is he didn't have a choice. Like he just got pulled because you know how you go and get the MRI done and
Yeah.
they see what the results are. They didn't even tell him.
Damn.
They're just like, you're out, bud.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was a pretty bad injury,
That
but
sucks.
blessing in disguise. I love Bogdan. Bogdan came and trained with us at the camp before.
Yeah.
Johnny and Bogdan are actually family friends. Johnny just moved to XC. Not a lot of time with him yet. We're just getting familiar and getting to know each other. So
Yeah.
blessing in disguise, you can take any way you want, but I look at it the best perspective that we
Yeah.
can have out of the situation. And,
Yeah.
I get more time to work with Johnny once he gets healed up and then, move on from there.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that does it for this episode. You
Yeah.
got anything else to add?
Wrap it up.
Good. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching Verse Us with Eric Nicksick. Please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave a comment for any guests you want to see or any questions you have for the show. Also, make sure you follow the show on social media at VSUS Pod. And please listen to the show anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, etc. For Eric, I'm Randy. See you guys next time.
And Puna.
And Puna.